Everyone, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts, and today I would like to show you very briefly what I have been working on. If you saw my last video, I showed you there how to make this card that has got actually fur behind it. And from this idea, it evolved a bit, and I got the idea, I thought about what else can I do with the fur. And I thought I'd like to find a stamped image that I can use. And I thought about the little robin I have, which I actually turned into a different card. So I thought because it's grey fur, I decided to use some, to turn it into a coal tit and not use the robin itself. And then I had the idea and I thought I would actually like some fur in a different colour. And I remembered that I actually had got some little soft toys that I had thought about donating. And I thought, oh my god, this is so good. I know it's not as fluffy as this kind of fur, but I thought I can use these bits. So I don't only have a coal tit, I also made a little blue tit that has got yellow fur. And I also got the actual robin here, which has got the red fur. I created these from a Woodware stamp. I'll just show you that briefly. Yeah, this is it. I've still got it mounted here. I ordered this through Amazon and it's still available there, but there are also other suppliers. All I did was I stamped it onto, actually this is watercolor cardstock, but you don't need watercolor cardstock. Originally I had planned to use watercolors, and then I thought because the fabric is rather bright, I'd rather use some alcohol markers. So all I did was I went online, had a look at photos of blue tits, robins and coal tits, and just sort of bit randomly really coloured these with my alcohol markers. I then cut these out. This was just a scrap piece of paper. This is why it's a bit smaller, but these were actually big enough to cut them out with some nesting dies. And then the bit that I wanted to put the fur in, I just cut this out with scissors. And what I did then is I distressed it a bit. You can do that with your scissors, but I've got this little tool that I got really cheaply. And you just go along the edges so it's not too neat when you put the fur in. And the other bit I did to prepare this piece is I used my alcohol markers to actually go along the edges. So because obviously it's fur and the stamp, I don't know if you can see this, has got these furry bits, I thought it would look a bit neater and would blend it a bit more nicely. You can also go along the edges here. So what I did then was I basically, as I showed in my last video, I backed this with the fur. Because this one's not as thick as the grey one, I didn't need to have as much of a foam behind it, and I actually used these foam squares rather than fun foam. I cut myself a little template, which you can simply do by putting this on a piece of paper, tracing it with a pencil, and then you know what size your fabric needs to be, just a little bit bigger, so you know where you have to stick it on. I basically, as I said, I just backed it on there, and then I cut myself with a nesting dice, cut myself a slightly bigger oval, and I just stuck this on. I would also like to show you the finishing touches to this, because you can actually give this a bit of dimension by very simply using a white gel pen, and I added a bit of highlights on the berries. On the coal tit I used the gel pen as well to add some white bits here, as I'd seen it on the internet photos. Yeah, and also on the coal tit, because it looked a bit plain, I used a bit of some Wink of Stella glitter pen just to give it a bit of sparkle. And then as a finishing touch on all three cards, I added a little bead for the eye, because as you can see on the original, it actually looks a bit pale and boring. But if you don't have beads of that size, you can always use Nuvo drops or a black gel pen, something that sticks out a bit. I also want to show you another little tip. You can already see this here. If you got cardstock that is actually quite precious, and I've got this black glitter cardstock and I didn't want to waste it, all you need to do is cut basically a frame, because all this will be covered anyway and you can't see it once it's glued on. So I saved the inner bit and I can use it as an oval, or I can always cut a sentiment from it, and I'm not wasting my precious cardstock. So this one again I have backed up with just the foam squares, because I didn't mind this sticking out a bit more, whereas with the other card, the Hug in a Mug, I didn't want the fur to stick out too much. And that's more or less what I did with these cards. I haven't added sentiments yet because I'm not quite sure yet how to use these. This I think could also, because of the colours, could actually work as a sympathy card. This I think I will definitely turn into a birthday card, and you could just have a little sentiment at the bottom, maybe even just a little sentiment stamped here on the side. With the robin, because I said I had the smaller piece of cardstock, I added the sentiment in down here on another piece of cardstock, which I raised as well as this piece. Also with a piece of, with a robin, because the robin, the way the red fur, well, originally it should be orange fur, but I like the red fur goes. This is just on the top. I just coloured it in with a pen and just cut this bit out. So you can be rather flexible with your interpretation. And again, here I used a bit of sparkle. I don't know if you can see that. So yes, this is what I've been doing with my supply of fur, and I've got many more ideas for these cuddly cards. I think they're really, really cute, and the recipient will really have fun, well, as much as fun as I have, really cuddling these. So even if you have other stamps, other animals, you can use these. And yeah, if you've got supplies like this, I'm not saying, you know, raid your children's soft toys, but you know, if you got anything like this or get it hand on it cheaply, that would be really good to make these cuddly cards. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this video, I would be happy if you gave me a like, and if you would like to subscribe to see more of my videos which are coming up soon, then you can press the subscribe button. Thank you very much, and see you soon.